Hi Israel Collective. Welcome to Jerusalem in the end of July. We're right before the fast of Tisha B'Av and Eid al-Adha, which are two big days in the Old City in Jerusalem. And we're going to walk through the Old City during Covid-19 and see what the situation looks like. And masks on. So you can see there's just a few local Israeli tours, usually workplace related, but any of you who have been here or maybe you've seen some videos will know that where I'm standing, which is right next to the Jaffa Gate, you can not stick a needle on a day like this on a typical year. So we can see here the famous breach and the actual Jaffa Gate itself. So we're gonna walk through the gate. These are the Turkish walls of the old city. They're called the new walls in Jerusalem because they're only 500 years old, which in Jerusalem is new. They're built by the Turkish Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, and they were actually in active use for protection of the city until 1967. Welcome to the old city. So it's a hot day, but it's been a hot week. Not that it really matters. But you know how they say, every time you have a day of fast coming, it's going to be hot. Every time you're going to dress up for what we call Purim and you guys have Halloween, it's going to rain. But that's just how it is. So we're here right on the border of the Christian quarter, the Armenian quarter next to us. And with the world famous David Citadel, Tower of David Museum, connection to our king is absolutely none. Absolutely nothing. It was actually built by King Herod 1,000 years after David, but it's still 2,000 years old. What you can see here is a mixture of Crusaders influences with Roman building blocks. It's called secondary usage. Every entity who ruled over Jerusalem ruled over from here. So from the Romans, Byzantines, Muslims, Crusaders, all the way to the Mamluks and Ottomans, British mandate, Jordanians, and now it's a museum under Israeli control. Museum of Jerusalem. And see, this enforcing just regular day. And David Street, this is the main street that cuts down all the way towards the Temple Mount, Western Wall, and the main bazaar. Now typically these stores open, now it's about, see if we can get it time wise. So now it's just after almost 11:15, and usually these stores open around 9:30, 10. You can see some people are open, but this is empty. As I grew up here in Jerusalem and lived here all my life, you would go to the old city to get some special things. Now, of course, with all touristic sites, a lot of the things are now imported or mostly for tourists. But that's just that. There's some unique things, some local craftsmen, but most of the city, most of the old city relies on tourism. So many of the businesses just don't open. And this is, I've been here a couple of times the past few months, and it's not that related to the fast or the holiday coming. Because we're gonna make our way down, continue walking. So on a regular day, this kind of traffic is something you'd expect maybe at 5 a.m. Not now. But some people still try to stay optimistic and open. We're walking down David Street. These tiles are renovated, of course, redid under the British, under Jerusalem, under the Jerusalem municipality here in our recent years. But main axe of transportation, walking down towards the center of the old city. Now, of course, you can see, like we said, this kind of traffic is something you see really just after sunrise. So we're here. We're going to take a left towards the Moistan Road, which is the heart of the Christian quarter. Now, so, again, most of the stores are closed. Well, of course, if you handle antiquities and jewelry, there's not a lot to do right now. And you can see the Maltese cross, which was actually the symbol of the Knights of St. John. Knights of St. John were one of the fighting orders who got permission from the Pope to carry arms, to turn from monks into knights, to actually give medical attention to the people here in the Holy Land. That's why they're also known as the Hospitalary Order. And after the battles of the Horns of Chitin in 1187, when Salah ad-Din defeats Gide Lusignan and kind of conquers the Holy Land, he came here, and as originally Kurdish born, he spoke Farsi. And these hospitals reminded him of the Persian word Bimuristan, which means hospital in Persian. Until today, the name stuck, Muristan. Again, coffee shop usually here. This is we're right underneath the Church of the Redeemer, Lutheran Church here in the Christian Quarter. And you can see some local businessmen are open. For example, fabric merchants who actually sell to religious groups, because there are laws to fabric, whether if it's Jewish, Muslim, or Christian. He specializes in them, so he's open. But everybody else, you can see all the restaurants here. Usually you can't move, and there's a tour guide. They always try to get you in because, you know, tour guides equal tourists. So for me, it's like walking incognito right now. So yeah. Yep. Some families have been here longer than others. These guys for 800 years, so they're open, they're optimistic, because there's always some people here. And some of you might recognize this place, Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Now, in general numbers, this is the second most visited site in the country. Number one is the wall. So for many of the Christian streams, this is what symbolizes the center of the world. So just usually not just standing outside, talking about, you know, you can't even stand outside here. There usually is a line. In recent months before COVID-19 started, if you'd come here, so any of you been on the Israel Collective trips, just to see all these barricades would actually create a line here for people going in and out, which was a first for this year. Yeah. Again, you can see I'm in shorts, so I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm just gonna have a little sneak peek. Like, you can typically not walk in here. טוב. אהלן, בסדר גמור. מצלמים לחבר'ה מחול שיראו איך נראית העיר העתיקה בתקופה. מצלמים לחבר'ה מחול שיראו איך נראה פה בתקופה הזאת. זה המטרה. אמן. Yeah, just talking to our friendly police in charge of this, the holy site. Says, God willing, next year it's going to be packed again. Guys, this is the rotunda. So of course this is originally what was built in the Byzantine period, then redone in the Crusaders, and again was recently renovated. Had to take collaboration by both the Kingdom of Jordan and Israel to help out with all the different Christian denominations here. Guys, I'm standing here. Usually the line starts all the way to the door, goes around the rotunda, and then here it is now sealed off to visit the site. Different basilicas, different chapels. This is very I think the only time I've seen this place this empty was in 2014. I had a big military operation. The sky were closed. I was the only guy here in the old city with one tourist. It was very, very special. So interesting vibes. You can see they actually sealed off some other places. Most sites will either take the time now to do renovation, or they try to limit people's friction. Many of the holy sites are actually closed for visitors because they are based as sites of pilgrimage, and not every place has a working active denomination. And that creates the fact that if there's not other people coming to worship, then places are closed. Beautiful. Like we said, renovation work takes place. Trying to make lemonade. So, back to the heart of Limowistan. And we're gonna make our way through the different perfume and meat market, spice markets of the old city. Some of those sites again are used by locals, so you will see a different section from the touristic section. Like we said, not everybody's closed, but I want to say over 90% of businesses here, especially the ones who rely on everybody else coming. This has just been such a great part, tourism. And when we say tourism, we even mean Israeli tourism, of like Israelis coming to the old city and to Jerusalem. It's kind of a local joke that if you're not from Jerusalem, you're a tourist. Some Jerusalemites even are tourists here. But it relies so much on incoming tourism, you can see. Now, in the old city itself, 35,000 people reside. So this is the main street. This is called Chabad Street. It cuts the city from north to south. So of course, we're actually now, left of me is crossing slowly towards the Muslim quarter. Christian quarter is behind me. We're gonna cross a little bit now through the spice market. Some of you have been here with me on a Israel Collective trip. You'd notice this is the best kebab in the world. Alan. That's all you can get. No sauce, no nothing. But we're walking through, so like we said, these are some stores, some for local use. That's why people are still open. But again, you can see the amount of shut doors. And you can actually walk here, which usually it looks more like a crowd passage. Crowd passing is when you have to get through a crowd. But now, you're gonna see it, people can ride their motorcycles and drive their little trolleys through because it's open. Now, of course, remember that Jerusalem is the largest city in Israel with over 900,000 people. The old city is small. Is, you know what, we're talking about less than 5%, but still, it's in the heart of it. But here, for example, you can say hi. We have some local spice merchants that are specialized in herbal medicine, so of course they're open. So when you come here on your next Israel Collective trip, remember this place. Kol tov? זה בשביל מקסים, אהלן וסהלן. Yeah, of course. And those of you who know a little bit of geography, your way around, we are now actually in the heart of the old city. So, in front of us is a transition to the Jewish quarter. Those gates over there are usually open because the corridor continues into the Jewish quarter. That's more of a where you can get arts and crafts and jewelry, antiquities, all sorts of interesting things. Usually it's a free passage, but it's closed off because it was pointless to open. But right now we're in the middle, and we're here. Of course, you can see where the police buys their stuff, and because this is the best hummus. מה העניינים? הכל טוב? בסדר, נצלם לחולניקים איך נראה עתיקה. It's my buddy here. Everybody says it's bad, but this is the best hummus in Jerusalem. Alan. So you cannot get hummus like this anywhere else, and it's hummus, not Hamas. And this is where the locals eat. You can see, not there's anything wrong with other places that have like TripAdvisor recommendations, but this doesn't. First come, first serve, no reservations. Deal with it. By the way, hummus is a breakfast thing. And continue to the chain gate. This goes towards the Alan Boker Tov. Toda rabba, salem lachevra. So, see everybody, as you see right here, special COVID-19 prices because people are trying to make a living, and they need to. You can see some people you can recognize, tour guides, trying to work. I can tell you that majority of us are unemployed right now, but we're trying to do something with it. So, here's a sneak peek from another time people try to destroy us. Welcome to the wide wall, built by none other than King Hezekiah 2,700 years ago. You might have heard about him. This was meant to stop the Assyrian conquest of the city while the rest of the kingdom was destroyed. The northern kingdom of Israel fell, Judah survived. Many reasons to it, but this was the northern wall of the city. So if to the left, which is north, is that way, this outside the city. To the south, that way, inside the city. So this is the northern wall, because even it says in the Bible, from the north evil shall come. It's a fonti patachara, but they don't mean like a superpower, a northern superpower, something like that. Geographically, the easiest way to access Jerusalem is from the north, and that's why the biggest fortification is going to be in the north. Now, this, where it says so on the wall here, estimated height, that's wrong. Today we believe went up higher, closer to the top of that building. And actually survived the city. The city survived for another 150 years to be destroyed by the Babylonians, and that's why we're fasting tomorrow. And second destruction by the Romans, by the Hebrew calendar and tradition, was on the same day, so same fast for both destructions. We're here inside the Jewish quarter. This is the Jewish quarter plaza, and it's going to be a little bit more open. It was new. It was renovated after the destruction was blown up, and long story to be told on Israel Collective. But see, some people live their lives here. Kids playing, all religions. Here next to the ruined synagogue, a churva, and with the menorah, the original symbol of Judaism and symbol of the state of Israel. 7 candles menorah. The 9 candles actually is a Hanukkah menorah, as a different kind of candelabra. Some people try to open, but even people try to open with special menus, but not always. No, tonight is a fast you can actually eat until dinner, and then 25 hours fast. But still, so some will be open because some people are still in different types of school, of religious schools here. People reside here, people come. These guys are closed. Yeah. Usually you fight for a spot here on the tables that cover this whole section, this whole patio, to get a good falafel, shawarma, a good sandwich when you're on a tour here. So again, it's closed. But at least I see that they're taking the time. They were thinking about installing an elevator here. What you can see peeking behind is the Al-Aqsa Mosque on Temple Mount. So we're just gonna walk down these stairs, see what we can see. So usually these stairs are much broader. They're actually trying to use this time. They're thinking of putting in a special elevator here finally. And you can see a lot of work done. And away is the Mount of Olives Cemetery. Over 140,000 marked tombs as of today, over 3,000 years old. Just had to go through security. Just typical. Now, of course, building a small visitor center here. Western Wall Plaza, you can see these binders, these dividers. When you walk down, there are sections that you can stand, divide you. This is because of COVID-19. Again, Western Wall during COVID-19, Israel Collective exclusive. But women's section on the right. Now tomorrow would be a bar mitzvah day, but it's a Thursday, but it's going to be a fast, so a little different. But you can see how they divided everything up. So even when you're coming to worship, because we're not supposed to be more than 20 people in a public space. Even in restaurants now, 30 people in an outdoor seating, 20 people in indoor seating. We have a lot of, different regulations going in and out. Even put these on the ground, the Western Wall, for spacing. Now, see, these are seats for people. This table is used to they covered with a blanket. You can stand underneath. Special tablecloth. They put the Torah on it, and you read, or any other book you study from. So usually either the person leading the worship, or maybe it's a lesson, and you have these little stalls, you can actually sit on, which is new. But the division is only recent. So I tried to do a video here about a month ago, and it's kind of depressing that you can't even get yourself in the wall normally in a shot, but this is what we have to do. So every place, when you come in to worship, see, for example, check your body temperature, put your mask on, 2 meters, which is about 7 feet apart. Now, when you come and worship, we need at least 10 people to join a crowd for some of the prayers. And it's not uncommon for even 30 or 40 people to go together, but you see they actually divided this up. Here's an example. See people worshiping together. This ramp above us, by the way, is entrance towards the Temple Mount for non-Muslims, which is open specific hours, specific days. It's going to be closed in the next couple of days due to the Eid al-Adha, the holiday of the sacrifice, Muslim holiday, one of the most important ones. And then and you can see some people are here every day, some people come. This is the Western Wall Plaza in peak tourism season, as you can see. Western Wall has been divided between men and women. Now you can see this guy just did is you literally walk back from the Western Wall, typically literally not turning your back to the Western Wall. But the division between men and women started in 1935 under British mandate. Until then it was men and women together. Since then, even when the wall was off limits under Jordanian control between 48 and 67, after 67, Western Wall Plaza again divided to two. We have a egalitarian section just south of it, also still open. You can see we're now back towards the Muslim quarter. This main street goes up from the Western Wall and ends up in Damascus Gate. You can see the old Turkish Sabil water fountain, a place you can drink, but you can also wash up before you go to worship. Some stores are open. They're trying to fight for every visitor, but that's how it is. Yeah. This was the old cotton merchants. Alan, cold drinks, old cotton merchants market. Of course, not a cotton market anymore, but that road actually leads up towards the Temple Mount. Of course, this way is only accessible for Muslims. We have so much here to see in Israel. And you know what? Maybe this is going to be a beginning of a series of videos. We're not sure yet, but we're here. This is a famous bakery place, Abu Snan Bakery, pastry shop, Jerusalem bagels. You guys have your special New York bagels. We have the Jerusalem bagels. Now, they cannot be copied. Another Institute, famous hummus restaurant. And you know what the sign says, Hebrew and Arabic actually. If we'll be alright, we won't be in quarantine. But in Hebrew it sounds cool. Niyeh beseder, lo niyeh beseger. Which means it'll be good. They won't have to shut us down again. Via Dolorosa. Here. The Via Dolorosa Christian pilgrimage road in the Muslim quarter. Next to two of the oldest Jewish yeshivas here were established originally in the Ottoman period. But again, a lot of souvenir businesses, a lot of restaurants just closed. You can see churches sealed, usually more. There's not a lot of people coming in here. And the Austrian hospice, you could get a cup of coffee and an Apfelstrudel, and even here they had to shut down their cafeteria and just sell outside. Via Dolorosa starts over there. Usually you cannot walk without almost being dragged into a store. You calculate how much time it takes to walk alone, how much time it takes to walk with a group, of course politely, and we're it's different. So old city during COVID-19. Here usually we're coming up to a junction that you cannot move. It's the mother of all, traffic jams, bottlenecks. But now it's all easy. Special. Yalla. So guys, I'm gonna start making my way back. One of the best coffee, only grounds, no drinking places in the old city. Actually, some brother studied in Italy. And this is usually the busiest street. This looks typical, but just a few people in the store. Sorry. Still a few people coming through. But again, this is empty. But usually, not on this part of the road, just up ahead, from the amount of pilgrims and locals and everyone coming through, you can't move. And then there's a guy trying to drive through with a scooter. But here, there isn't even a line to get sweets in Jaffa. So it's a good time to come. All you have to do is get through the 14 days of quarantine that you'll be required to coming in. But maybe we'll work it out in the future. So again, this is the main street. We're now going south. Abad Street. It was built originally on the original Roman cardo that cut the city from north to south. It was the first time the city was actually designed and built with streets under Hadrian in 135 after the destruction of Jerusalem. And that was the layout that we built on top of since. This is top of the Via Dolorosa, right here next to the 7th station. Up above us is the Christian corridor of Hanukkah Street. And we're back to the heart. Sanduka, another famous coffee place. If you could only smell freshly ground coffee, cardamom. But as of today, we could not transfer cent through the phone. So you just have to come here on your next Israel Collective adventure. Now, think about how many things you cannot do together anymore. Take a big hit. Mutual communal eating. When I mean everybody sticking their hand in the same dish, or hookah. Oh, this is something you'd never see being sold in the old city. Face masks. The water fountain here in the Mugistan Center, Christian Quarter. All of the artifact, jewelry, souvenir stores are closed. Restaurants might have their table outside, but I don't see them open. Some people are open. Old city during COVID-19. Israel Collective 2020. Make our way back up to Jaffa Gate. Now, also tourists that are here either came and spent time in quarantine, usually because of work. People work for foreign consulates or embassies, different companies, might spend time in quarantine and then get back to their work, or people come for medical treatment. It's one of the big things we're trying to figure out. What's the game plan? But carpe diem, and seize the day, but we'll also live one day at a time. Plan ahead. So you might still see some foreigners here. But remember, in Jerusalem, if you're not from Jerusalem, you're a tourist. And we're back towards Jaffa Gate. Friends, hope you enjoyed this little interesting walkthrough. This is Lahad signing off. Have a great week. Back to Jaffa Gate. Bye for now. Israel Collective, thank you for joining me.